Hello, my dear friends. Let's begin today's practice with a little guided exercise. So I'm going to ask you to please remain seated for now. And if you can, close your eyes. And just notice what's present for you. What's in your experience in this very moment. Perhaps you're at the end of a busy day. The mind filled with thoughts, to-dos, should-haves. Or maybe you're just starting your day a bit more relaxed. So whatever your experience, just remain with it for a few moments. And notice what attention does, where it goes. This is how we always begin our practices. Bringing attention, bringing awareness to the moment. I'm going to ask you now to please allow an image of the body to surface. So what does that image point to? Can you separate the images, the descriptions of the body from the sensations? So there are sensations and there are descriptions, images of the body. They are separate, you know. So here, check this out. Eyes are still closed. Please start rubbing your hands together gently. So there's a sensation of one hand rubbing against the other, right? The sensation itself is unnamed, formless, and it can't really be described. It can only be experienced. So please keep going. Stay with that sensation for a few more moments, rubbing one hand against the other. Okay, now, what else is there in your experience? So in my experience, when attention is directed toward hands rubbing against each other, a sensation immediately emerges, along with some spatial clues that tell me where in space this sensation is happening. So, you know, that's called proprioception. And then there's something else. Then there's an image of the hands rubbing against each other that comes up. So when this happens, I question myself, are these things related? Is the sensation related to the image? Is the image related to the notion of where the sensation is happening? Please keep on rubbing the hands. And now think of a deserted beach or a lake with crystal clear waters. Is the raw sensation of hands rubbing against each other still present? Has it disappeared? It's still there, right? But what about the image of the hands? Well, it's probably back now because I mentioned it, but if you keep rubbing the hands together and think about that deserted beach, a beautiful sunset, or anything else, the image goes away. Now, once the image goes away, does that change in any way the sensation of the hands rubbing against each other? In other words, can the presence or the absence of any thought change in any way the experience of the raw sensation? Experiment with that. Keep rubbing the hands and think different things. Does that change in any way the experience of the sensation? You rub the hands, continue rubbing the hands, and just allow the image of the hands rubbing themselves be present. Allow it to be present. So when that mental image is present, it is as if you were seeing the hands, right? So the mental image will seem attached to the sensation, as if it were mimicking my experience if the eyes were open. I mean, I rub my hands against each other, I look down, and there they are. I can see my hands rubbing against each other, yes? Please do that right now. Continue rubbing your hands against each other. Open your eyes just for a moment and look. There they are. They're doing just what the image, what the understanding in the head predicted, yes? But now, when you close your eyes back down, does the sensation change in any way? Open the eyes. Look at the hands rubbing against each other. Is the sensation different? Should be very clear that the sensation is independent from thought. It's also independent from seeing. In other words, touching has nothing to do with thinking or seeing. Please stop rubbing the hands together. Close your eyes if they're not closed. And now just think about rubbing the hands together. Imagine you're rubbing the hands together, no physical movement. Can you do that? Sure. I tell you what happens in my experience. In my experience, if I think about the action long enough, I can almost feel the sensation. Thought is a very, very clever mechanism. It will produce a ghostly replica of the sensation. But it's not quite the real thing, is it? It mimics the sensory activity, but it's still thought, it's still thinking. So what makes us say that seeing and touching, or seeing and touching and thinking, or hearing and seeing, or thinking and smelling are connected? What makes us say that? Slow down. Look closely. This is essentially a belief. Fundamentally, there's no connection, as we have seen. The sensation labeled roughness, for example, and the color brown are not interdependent when we experience a tree. They just happen to be there as experience. The connection comes up as a fundamental structure of the mental apparatus, as a fundamental structure of the mind comes into play. So this fundamental structure refers to the creation of things. It refers to imagining wholes from the addition of parts. It creates objects and subjects where there really are none. And maybe, just maybe, what or who you believe yourself to be is nothing but one of these imagined wholes, which we can call gestalt. Right? Okay, just saying. All right, now, if your eyes are closed, you may open your eyes. Time to get ready for our main session. Okay, if you wish to lie down. Okay, if you wish to remain seated. You may grab any props that you feel will make your practice more comfortable. And I'll give you some time to make any final adjustments. When you're ready, you can go ahead and close the eyes. And gently allow attention to come to the sense of proprioception, the perception that we have of the body's location in space. So develop awareness of the room that you're in now. Maybe sensing the walls, the ceiling, the floor. Perhaps even sensing the objects in the room. In the body, sense, feel the body sitting, lying on the surface that provides support. Awareness of the body lying on the mat, the bed, the sofa, sitting on a chair. And the most important thing here is observing how there's a knowing that goes along with all of the elements of experience. A certainty, an undeniability that everything is here now, as here as now. Allow attention to come to the breath. And notice how what we label breath is essentially a set of sensations and thoughts about these sensations. The sensation of the air that travels through the nostrils or passing through the back of the throat. The sensation of the belly and of the chest rising and falling. The mental elements, images, thoughts about a body that is breathing. Just notice everything happening by itself. There's nothing you need to do to make it happen. And now just allow attention to choose one of these elements and stay with it for a little while. The element that you're most comfortable with. Or if attention wants to wander around, that's perfectly okay too. Focus on the nostrils, then the belly. So simply observe and notice that no matter where attention goes, that knowing, that certainty of existence is there, or better yet, is here. Slow down. And just notice the flow of sensations that we label breath. A flow of sensations that is coming and going. And as we slow down more and more, perhaps that flow starts to balance itself. Perhaps the sensations that we label inhalation, exhalation, begin to harmonize, begin to create a seamless rhythm of equal length, of equal pressure. Now, if you're having trouble allowing this to happen, it could be helpful to connect the thinking process with the sensations that we label breath, which means that as the next breath in happens, counting emerges. 1, 2, 3, 4, in sync with the sensation. And on the out breath, the counting follows the same pattern. 4, 3, 2, 1, throughout the extension of the sensation. Again, in 1, 2, 3, 4, and out 4, 3, 2, 1. If you feel more comfortable counting to 3 or to 5, that's perfectly okay, no problem. Just take a bit of time here to find the natural rhythm of your breath, the natural flow of sensations labeled breath. And at some point, maybe the counting just drops away and the even flow of the breath continues to happen, happening on its own throughout the rest of the practice. Please become aware of the body's position in space once again. The space the body occupies. Become aware of the back of the head, the shoulders, the spine, the belly. And now please bring awareness to the foundational triangle between the knees and the tailbone. Notice how the knees and the tailbone form a structural triangle of energy, a structural triangle in the energy body. So sense the corners of the triangle as sensation: left knee, right knee, tailbone. And let's start tracing the triangle with the attention. So when the next inhale comes up, we allow attention to travel from the left knee to the right knee. On the breath out, it traces a path between the right knee and the tailbone. The next breath in comes up, tailbone to left knee. Exhale, left knee to right knee, and so on. So please keep going, tracing that foundational triangle. Remember, this is a movement of attention, and the breath is your measure. Now attention comes towards the top of the triangle, so allow attention to gather around the area of the perineum. That's the area between the genitals and the anus. So perhaps this focus of attention comes up as sensation, or as a warmth, a sense of presence, a vibration, or a golden dot, a golden pulsating dot at the area of the perineum between the genitals and the anus. Wherever you are in your breathing cycle, as the next inhale emerges, please visualize, sense, feel the golden dot, the energy of focused attention as it moves from the perineum to the navel point, the belly button. And just allow it to be there for a few rounds of breath. At the belly button, just be present with it. Now become aware of the rectangular field of energy between the shoulders and the hips. Notice how the shoulders and the hips form a structural rectangle in the energy body. And spend a few moments here just sensing the corners of the rectangle as sensation. The left hip, right hip, right shoulder, left shoulder. And let's start tracing the rectangle with the attention. tracing a path from the left hip to the right hip with the next inhalation. Right hip to right shoulder with the exhalation. Then right shoulder to left shoulder inhalation. And left shoulder to left hip on the exhalation. Please keep going, tracing the energetic rectangle with the natural movement of attention. No strain, no effort. And now attention moves toward the bottom of the rectangular region and gathers around the navel point, the belly button, as sensation, warmth, a sense of presence, or as a golden pulsating dot at the navel. And wherever you are in your breathing cycle, as the next inhale emerges, please visualize, sense, feel the golden dot, the energy of focused attention as it moves from the navel point all the way to the space between the eyebrows. At the end of the inhale, just allow it to sit there for a few rounds of breath. Just be present with it. And now become aware of the circular field of energy that encompasses the entire head. From the top of the head to the chin, from the left ear to the right ear. And allow attention to start tracing the circle. Breathe in from the chin to the right ear and all the way to the top of the head. Breathe out, top of the head, down towards the left ear, and all the way to the chin. Again, inhale, chin to right ear to top of the head. Exhale, top of the head, left ear, the chin. Please keep going, tracing the circular region with an effortless movement of attention. Attention moves back to the space between the eyebrows, inside the circular region. Attention gathers at the eyebrow center as sensation or warmth, a sense of presence, a vibration, or a golden pulsating dot. And wherever you are in your breathing cycle, as the next breath in emerges, please visualize, sense, feel the golden dot, the energy of focused attention, as it moves from the space between the eyebrows to a point about 1 foot above the head. And at the end of the inhale, allow the golden dot to remain there. Be present with it for a few rounds of breath. And please imagine that the mind is gathered on that area of focused attention, the golden dot, suspended about 1 foot above the head, as if looking down toward the body. Looking down toward the body, you observe the circular, the rectangular, the triangular fields of energy, and the golden dots within each of these fields. Now just observe as the fields begin to merge. The triangular field starts moving up, the circular field starts moving down, and all three fields meet. All three fields are superimposed in the region of the chest. The golden dots, the pulsating dots, unite in the middle of the chest, in the region of the energetic heart. And they're like a golden portal at the entrance of the cave of the heart. Allow attention to start moving inward, crossing the golden portal and into the cave of the heart. Moving deeper and deeper into the space of the heart. Moving deeper and deeper into the cozy, vast space of nothingness. Until it dissolves in this emptiness as pure being. Attention turns back on, aware of the darkness in front of your closed eyes. We're getting ready to come out of the cave of the heart, slowly emerging to the waking state. So awareness of the heart center in the middle of the chest. Allow attention to start moving up toward the throat. Subtle attention on the throat. We're moving up towards the surface of awareness. So attention once again comes to the space between the eyebrows, moves from the throat along the face to the space between the eyebrows. And from here, it expands to the whole body. Aware of the senses. The senses are always wide open. Acknowledging any sensations in your experience. Taking note of any thoughts, images, emotions coming and going, sounds around you. Welcoming each and every experience with openness. Keep breathing with each breath in, becoming more and more and more awake. Until maybe at some point the body might want to start moving. So allow that to happen. Maybe small wiggles at first, fingers, toes, maybe the head moving from side to side. And the movements will increase on their own to the arms, the legs. So this is the innate wisdom of the body in action. Trust it, allow it to happen. And maybe eventually the arms come overhead for a good full body stretch. Or the body drops to one of the sides for a few moments in a fetal position. Or maybe opening and closing the eyes several times, getting used to the light. So take your time as you transition to waking life. And when you're ready, when you feel like it, if you're not already there, please find your way to a seated position. If eyes are not closed, close the eyes just for a few more moments. And let's spend a few moments here reflecting on the experience, on this session's experience, the elements that came up, the elements that were part of your experience, sensations, the emotions, the thoughts. Or maybe you slept through the experience. Hey, that's an experience too. Now let go of everything and just notice how you feel overall in this very moment. Maybe noticing the softness, the evenness of the breath, relaxation in the body. Maybe even the mind is a little quieter. This is a beautiful space, right? So know that you can access this space of peacefulness, of well-being. Anytime you need to feel safe, at home, at ease. Beautiful, my friends. We're going to finish one more Yoga Nidra session by taking a nice deep breath in and filling those lungs. Okay, let's do it. Fill them up. And exhale with an open mouth. Thank you so very much for being here. And I'll see you next time.